Well, so we should continue here. Now, this week it was reported that that Micah Douglas has announced his retirement at age 80, which, you know, if this isn't officially it and he is retired, God bless him. The guy is 80 years old. He's married to Catherine Zeta-Jones. I mean, he's been some great stuff over the years. God bless him, and I hope he enjoys his retirement. I mean, the guy's put out some great performances over the years. So here is my official top 10 favorite Michael Douglas films. All right, coming in at number 10 is The American President. Now, he also actually played a real life president of Benjamin Franklin in that series Franklin last year. But before that, he did play another president. Uh, and of course, this was directed by Rob Reiner, starring Michael Douglas. You also had like Annette Bening, Martin Sheen, Michael J. Fox, some really great cast members. It is of course written by Aaron Sorkin, who obviously will go on to pen The West Wing. And it's a very charming romance film with Annette Bening. Of course, has Michael Douglas playing widow president Andrew Shepard, navigate love with lobbyist Cindy Ellen Wade while facing political challenges in an election year. It's an incredible film. Great performances by Douglas. Benning's great in this. Really well worth a watch. All right, number 9 is The Game. Of course, starring Michael Douglas, Sean Penn, Deborah Kara Unger. It's a really decent David Fincher bending thriller. Of course, about a wealthy banker, played Nicholas Van Horton, who receives a mysterious game as a birthday gift from his brother, which unreveals like his control life and conspiracy. Definitely, like obviously, this was like David Fincher coming, like having it was pretty much like his follow up to let's say Seven, at the time, and a really great like cat and mouse thriller. Sean Penn was really insane in this one. Michael Douglas was great. Definitely well worth a watch. All right, number 8 is Don't Say a Word. Now, not many people probably would have this on their favorite list, but I quite enjoy Don't Say a Word. It of course stars the likes of the late Brittany Murphy. Sean Bean was in this. The late actress, I forgot her name, but the late actress who also played Mel Gibson's daughter in The Patriot, she was also in this. And if you guys don't know much about the story here, psychologist Nathan Conrad must unlock a secret from a traumatized patient to save like his kidnapped daughter, and it's pretty much a race against the time here. Of Sean Bean, of course, plays the villain in this. He is awesome here. Brittany Murphy is great. There's a fun like Thanksgiving parade scene that's always entertaining to watch. I mean, this movie is actually a lot of fun. Definitely has lots of twists and turns around. Douglas is great in this. It's a really well worth a watch. Check out. All right. Number 7 is Traffic. Of course, directed by Steven Soderbergh. Of course, you got Michael Douglas who plays a newly appointed drug Caesar, whose like personal life collides with his personal mission here. And of course, obviously, it is where like the interwoven tale of a drug trade following the U.S. drug czar, cops, dealers here. The cast is great. You of course have Catherine Zeta-Jones, who obviously he's married to. Of course, you have Benicio del Toro, who I think actually won an Oscar, if I'm not mistaken, for this. I mean, Don Cheadle was in this. Some great cast members, great cinematography that creates a gripping narrative, multi-story structure. This was pretty much, let's say, Crash of the early 2000s. In 2000, it's well worth a watch there. All right. Coming in at number 6 is Ant-Man. Now, of course, this was Michael Douglas's like comic book debut, if you will, playing Hank Pym, who's of course a brilliant but guarded inventor of the Ant-Man suit. And I still remember when Michael Douglas was first cast in this. I'm like, that's pretty heavy when with the comic book world. And Michael Douglas was great here. Of course, he did reprise his role for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which as of right now is actually his last movie he did. So there's that. But the first Ant-Man is still a lot of fun. You know, his chemistry with like his on-screen daughter Evangeline Lilly, who by the way also announced her retirement, so interesting there. Um, Pretty much Hank Pym and Janet and his daughter retired. Okay. But yeah, now of course he like brings gravitas to the MCU's smallest literary hero story. Has lots of fun heart, humor to it. Michael Douglas, I really, and of course, obviously, he will also reprise his role a little bit in Avengers Endgame as well. And so, yeah, Ant Man is definitely, obviously, you know, Ant Man of the Wasp, he ended up flipping and stuff. But, so, the first Ant Man is really cool to check out. Crazy believe that turns 10 this year, by the way. Coming in at number 5 is Romancing the Stones. Now, I probably could have added, you know, War of the Roses or Jewel of the Nile, but I'm going with the OG Romancing the Stone. Now, of course, this is about romance novelist Joan Wilder, who teams up with a adventure to rescue her kidnapped sister here. And of course, the chemistry between Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner is terrific. You had Danny DeVito in this. Of course, you know, obviously I'm talking about movies, not really TV shows. But I will be remiss if I also talk about another great performance Michael Douglas did on the TV, on the Comiskey Method, which he was excellent on that. And it was really cool to see like Romancing the Stones reunion with him, Danny DeVito, Kathleen Turner. Really cool show there. But anyway, Romancing the Stones is definitely a really an amazing film. It is a classic, a nice adventure type film. There was, of course, a sequel, Jewel of the Nile, which I admit, Romance Stones is a little better. But I mean, this film was pretty much like the Indiana Jones s type film, and it's really rewatchable. It is a classic there. All right, coming in at number 4 is Falling Down. Now, of course, Falling Down was directed by the late great Joe Schumacher. Michael Douglas, of course, plays this laid-off defense worker who snaps during a swirling, frustrating day in LA, and he embarks on a violent odyssey. This is a really like dark commentary on social decay. Uh, it has some really crazy, like violent types of stuff. I mean, really different Michael Douglas role that people were not really used to seeing at the time. Probably one of his best performances. Like, if I was to do my top 10 favorite performances of his, Falling Down will actually be number 1. He is excellent in this. Probably should have maybe gotten some, you know, War Love and all, but Falling Down is a really well worth a watch. All right, number 3 is Basic Instinct. Boy, Michael Douglas had a ding of erotic films at times. Now, Basic Instinct of course, star like Sharon Stone, where of course Michael Douglas plays Detective Nick Heron, who investigates like a rock star's murder, and becomes entangled with novelist Catherine Trammell, played by Sharon Stone, and it gets let's say risque throughout. Obviously, you know Michael Douglas, Sharon Stone, yeah. Uh, uh, Lots of iconic moments in this. Obviously, the Cross Lake scene, one of the most iconic moments in movie history. You also got Wayne Knight was in this too. I mean, who does not love Basic Instinct? We don't have to talk about Basic Instinct 2, and thankfully Mike Douglas is not in that. But yeah, the first Basic Instinct is directed by Paul. I can never pronounce his last name. Paul Verhoeven. He did a great job here. I mean, Basic Instinct is one of the best erotic movies of that era. You know. All right, coming in at number 2 is Fair Attraction. Now, of course, directed by Adrian Lyne, starring Michael Douglas, Glenn Close, and Archer. The original Fair Attraction is an iconic one. You know, you got like Dan Gallagher, played by Douglas, who is a married lawyer who has a weekend affair with Ed's. Stop that. With editor Alex Frost, who of course spirals into a dangerous obsession here. And yeah, this movie is like, it has some crazy, shocking scenes, like the infamous bunny scene. I mean, Glenn Close goes crazy throughout here. Fair Attraction is just one of the most iconic, like, obsessed based movies of all time, and well worth a watch there. And my number one favorite Michael Douglas movie here is none other than Wall Street. They did do a sequel with Shia LaBeouf. That wasn't so good, yeah. But the first Wall Street, directed by Oliver Stone, starring Michael Douglas, Charlie Sheen, um, Martin Sheen, and all. I mean, the original that Wall Street movie is so iconic. Greed is good. One of the most iconic lines there. Of course, you got Michael Douglas who plays a stockbroker. Of course, you have about like a young stockbroker who gets entangled in a high stakes world of finance under the mentorship of ruthless corporate raider Gordon Gekko. And of course, it was the movie that won Michael Douglas an Oscar. Of course, Charlie Sheen was great in this. It is the film's dialogue is great. One of Oliver Stone's best work. It is a really amazing film, worth giving a go, and yeah, it's definitely worth watching. But here is, of course, my quick rundown. Number 10 is The American President. 9, The Game. 8, Don't Say a Word. 7, Traffic. 6, Ant-Man. 5, Romancing the Stone. 4, Falling Down. 3, Basic Instinct. 2, Fatal Attraction. And number 1 is Wall Street. Now, there's some other great ones, too. I'm not including his producing credits. That's why One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is not listed here, because he only produced that. Obviously, what else? Oh yeah, War of Roses, Black Rain, Made in America, Wonder Boys, um, Solitary Man, Las Vegas. That was a pretty good one. It Runs in the Family, which he did with his father, Kirk Douglas. I mean, he's done some great stuff over the years. I mean, if he's officially retired, good on him. Definitely hope he enjoys his retirement there. I wouldn't mind seeing him make a comeback, but who knows. Anyway, let me let you guys. What are some of your favorite Michael Douglas movies of all time? And what are your thoughts on Michael Douglas also retiring as well? Are you disappointed about Michael Douglas retiring? What's some of your favorite film or some of your favorite performances of Michael Douglas? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notification. This is Tim Movies and signing.